Well, I've been doing it for more than, I guess it's been 13 years. It's quite embarrassing. Sometimes you just want to bang your head in the wall and it still doesn't work. It's one of the mind-boggling features at the moment. I would have never imagined in my wildest dreams. I haven't been to a party in ages.
Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day and making it an awesome one.
Hey, wait a second. Doesn't that sound way too familiar?
You got that right. Welcome back everyone to the CSI Show. I'm Niharika.
And I'm Gaurav, and we are your hosts for today.
Our guest today is a gold medalist in digital painting. He loves motorcycles and playing the piano.
He's also a recurring part of Adobe Max conference and has taught at PS World Conference.
With over 2.8 million subscribers on YouTube and 650 plus tutorial videos about everything Photoshop.
Let's welcome our guest for today, Unmesh Dinda, better known as PiXimperfect.
Yay!
Hi.
Hi.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're hoping you are.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you feel that way.
That's great.
Let's get started then. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Gaurav, you want to ask the first question?
Yeah, sure. So, why did you start Photoshop, and how long have you been doing it?
Well, I've been doing it for more than, I guess it's been 13 years. And I got started with it when we got our first computer. It came pre-installed with Photoshop. So my father was the one who was into DTP, which is desktop publishing. Back in the days, it was a thing. So he was in it and he introduced me to Photoshop. And from then on, it was just trial and error, like pressing different buttons, seeing what each button does and how can I do fun things in Photoshop. And that is what carried over. And that's what's been continuing.
That's pretty cool.
So how did you come up with the name PiXimperfect?
Well, just like everybody, are you guys into photography?
Yes.
Yeah, we do
Definitely.
some Photoshop
So do you?
also.
Awesome. So do you guys have a photography page on Facebook or Instagram?
Yes,
No?
of course.
Definitely. Everybody has that. So when I was into college, I was in Wilson College, Girgaon Chowpatty. I was there and I was doing my first year. Everybody was getting their first cameras and starting their photography page. So I just got into the bandwagon and people would name their photography page after their name. Just like I have a lot of friends, let's say his name is Arun. So Arun's photography, and this is how people usually named it. I wanted it to be a little different. So that is why I named it. I remember there's a term called picture imperfect. So let's name it picture imperfect. So actually it was picture imperfect. But then again, there is no meaning to the name actually, if you ask me. It was picture imperfect. And then what happened when I looked for username availabilities, because in Facebook it was available. But later when I tried to make an Instagram page, picture imperfect was taken. Also with Twitter, it was taken as well. Domain was taken as well. So I was left with no choice but to choose a name like PiXimperfect, which was available elsewhere. So a good tip for the audience, if you are trying to create a page or a presence or a brand, there are websites where you can just type in your username and it's going to check in every website whether it's available or not. So a good tip there.
That is a pretty good tip. And the name's also quite good.
Yeah, thank you.
So, you went to the US. How was your experience teaching over there in the Adobe Max Con and the PS World Con?
All right, so let me ask you first question. Why do we make a selection? Just shout out the answer. Why do we make a selection? Change background, something else?
It was brilliant. The people were great and I was received well. And one of the reasons why I got to go there again and again, you have to think about how can you help the audience the most. The first time I went, I was teaching at Shutterfest in St. Louis. So there, what I did was something which was beyond my pay scale. So they were not paying teachers enough to do so many things. It was just for a regular lecture. It was sufficient, but it was sufficient for a regular lecture. But as a newcomer, as somebody who was very young and probably the youngest instructor there, I wanted to do a little more. So along with teaching what was supposed to be taught, I did a couple extra things. I created handouts, step-by-step techniques as to what to apply when, and on my own cost created printouts for 50 to 100 people that were there, and out of my own pocket also did a giveaway. So let's say the fee was, I'm just giving you a number, an abstract number. The fee was certain X. So I spent more than half of that in giveaways and printouts. And beyond that, I also made a video recording so that people can go home and reference that to follow along. So for doing all that, people in the audience liked it so much that some of them turned out to be great contacts for the other conference. So they told others about me. So I got to go to Photoshop World, and then there I did the same thing. The venue was packed, especially my class, and then they told Adobe about it. So this is how the chain went. Actually, you don't get much exposure just from YouTube. You get little opportunities, and from those little opportunities, you just have to perform good enough to be able to get the others.
So we've heard that your initial dream was to be a rapper. Who was your inspiration
Where
behind
have
that
you been
dream?
digging? I never said that. Where
Everywhere.
have you been? Where have you been looking for that?
We've been looking everywhere for something.
Everywhere. Yeah.
I don't know where did you guys look at that, but it was something. It's quite embarrassing. It was something I aspired to be as a child, as a kid. So that is not what I really wanted to be. It is something that every kid when we were young, like 12, 13, teenagers, so we all want to be cool.
Let's go ahead and get it to our main man, the champion himself. No need for introduction.
We all want to wear black goggles, take pictures of ourselves and doing crazy things. So that was one of those phases. It's just nothing more than that. Trust me, it's just a phase. It went away for good.
Oh man.
So, before you started your channel, what did you do before that?
I was a college student. Well, I started the channel in my second year of college, and before that I was a student. And it's not that I started YouTube just 4 years ago. I started YouTube actually 10 to 12 years ago, and it didn't start with Photoshop. It started with a lot of failed attempts. The very first was a piano cover. So at my back, as you can see, there's a piano. So I used to play a little bit and upload it to my channel. Then I did a lot of singing covers, which all of them were so embarrassing. I deleted that later. And there are a couple still there. And that didn't work. So along the process, I did a lot of things on YouTube. And finally, I thought maybe I really want to teach. So this worked.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Channel is very good. So
Thank
hit
you.
the
Glad you
perfect
feel that
mark.
way.
So, what were your parents' thoughts or initial reactions when you went into this career in the creative field?
I didn't leave everything to choose a career. It was something I did in my pastime. That's it. I was studying, I was doing my assignments, doing my homework, doing whatever, clearing exams with good marks. And then during the evenings and other times when I was at home after college, not home actually, it was hostel. I used to do these things, and I did it while I was in college. I didn't leave other things. A lot of people would say that you need to leave a lot of things. I want to take that risk. I want to just go into YouTube. No, I didn't choose to be a YouTuber per se. I don't even like that term. I just wanted to teach online. And at that time, YouTube was the only free way to do it. So it was through YouTube. So that's basically it. And it grew while I was still in college. And as I was graduating, it was at 1 million. So already it was all set up while I finished college. So it was not a thing that my parents would oppose of. And at the end of the day, the reason why I did such a bizarre course, I don't recommend doing BMM to anybody. Even though I had good marks, I did it thinking that maybe it would help me, but it's a crap course. Don't do it. So I did it, and my parents, it's because of my parents, because they supported me. They actually supported me in doing whatever I wanted. So that was a big thing. Without my parents, I couldn't have, without their support and agreement, I couldn't have done that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool. I'm
Yeah,
sure
thank you.
most of our audience want to know about this. Like, when you face a creative block, what do you do to overcome it?
A lot of people, if you ask, they're going to give you a lot of techniques that you go to websites for inspiration, that you go here, go there, go out. Well, you can do all of those things and you can take that advice. I would also recommend take that advice from other people. As far as me, I'm just crushed when I'm at a creative block. I'm really crushed, and I cannot give you a clear-cut answer as to how to get out of it. Because, being on YouTube, it was easier 3 years ago. It was very easy to create videos, just wake up in the morning, think about nothing, and you have an idea, you create it. You know Photoshop, you know things about Photoshop, you create it. Now, after 500 or 600 videos right now, the problem is I've taught everything. Like, what should I teach? What topic should I think of? So coming up with an idea is the most challenging thing. The only thing that has taken me out of that is giving some time to it, let your mind rest a little bit, and ideas will come. And it also doesn't mean that you get lazy and stop working and wait for an idea to come. You start researching. And if nothing comes, you can always, there's a process I go through. The first thing is you research the comments. You look at what people are looking for, what people want. So it applies to every case. You look at whatever type of content you want to create. You look at that space and see what's trending. What are people looking for? What do they want? In my case, I usually post, like, what do you want to learn? What video should I create next? I usually get a lot of comments and ideas and suggestions, and some of them are really good. If that doesn't work, I start my research, looking at what's new, what feature is coming on, what's the trend going on with Instagram, what style photographers are getting into. If nothing works at the end, I would go to my old videos and look at how can I show this in a much better way? Because 4 years ago, the techniques I showed might be very redundant now. So maybe I can do what I used to do in 30 minutes in just 2 minutes now with the new features and the new updates and maybe some new techniques. So there's a lot of things you can do, but it is a mess. There is no one solution that'll get you out of it. Sometimes you just want to bang your head in the wall and it still doesn't work. So it's not easy.
Definitely,
It's not a one-click solution.
Talking about the YouTube world, how would you say the journey has been from like your very first subscriber to now being at 2.8 million?
To be honest, I don't really look at subscription numbers because that's not in my control. What I do look at is the amount of content I have created. So I don't keep goals like maybe by 2022, I'm going to have 3 million subscribers. No, that's not a realistic goal because anything can happen. Another COVID can happen. God forbid something like that happens, or something, maybe people lose interest in Photoshop, or anything can happen. But what my goal, it's not in my control. How people react to videos, it's not in my control. How many people watch it, maybe generate some revenue or not, it's not in my control. What is in my control definitely is the quality and the amount of content I can create. So if I can have a goal like I want to reach a point where I can create, let's say, 3 videos a week, that would be great. But I haven't been able to do that lately. When I was new to YouTube, I could get a video out daily, but right now it's hard because there's a lot of things already covered. So I have to come up with brand new things, brand new ideas that nobody on YouTube has ever covered before to the videos. So it takes a little while now. So I mostly focus on what I can do, what is in my control, not on what is on the other side.
Okay, that's a very good way to look at something.
Absolutely. Because even if you look at Instagram, it's about the number of posts you make. And it's not also about how many followers you have. Let's say you create your first content and you're striving towards perfection and you really want it to be perfect and you give so much time to it. And then you create it and you feel that it's the best thing I've created in the world. Now, after you keep on creating content and after you create your 100th content, then when you look back at your first video, you would laugh at your stuff. You would feel like, what an embarrassment I was. What was I thinking? I was stupid. The 100 videos that you created might have given you just 100 subscribers, might have given you maybe 10,000 subscribers. Maybe one of them went viral and gave you 1 million subscribers. That is irrelevant. But in those 100 videos, you became better. That's more important than focusing on how many subscribers or followers you have. Because if you become better, then automatically subscribers come and people start to follow you.
That's great advice.
Yeah. So, we've heard you're a tech geek. So, what technology or invention, surprised you the most?
In Photoshop,
Yeah.
Any
the
feature
thing with
that's like
Photoshop,
really
it hasn't been a brand revolution, but there has been little features that has really evolved so good that it's amazing to look back and see that 20 years ago you didn't even have layers in Photoshop, you had to work in channels. So right now, one of the things that impresses me the most and one of the practical features is select subject. So what happens is whenever you click a button called select subject, it automatically makes a very accurate selection of the subject. So right now, I'm assuming that you guys are using some virtual background, right? The
yes.
CSI Show virtual background. So as you can see, the edges, it's moving. So with Photoshop, what happens is the technology has gotten so good that it does such a perfect selection with just one click. So it'll also select the hair properly. It'll also select the whole subject properly. It is just perfect. It's one of the mind-boggling features at the moment.
So, in terms of making a video, do you like have a proper process with it? Like you write it down, or you write the script and then you shoot, or something like that? What's your video making process like?
Do you feel I speak with the script?
Somewhat, you're like too perfect, when you speak. Your teaching methods are amazing. So it feels
So I don't
scripted.
usually speak with a script. What that does, speaking with a script, what that does is just it limits my ability to add my own things in between. And it also takes away from the fun of teaching. However, if I absolutely have no preparation, what will happen is the video will become so long that it will be harder to make it shorter. So, I think it was Benjamin Franklin. I give this example all the time, and he said, if I had more time, I would write a shorter letter. Does that make sense? So, the more preparation I do for a video, the shorter it becomes. And that is the goal, because it's easy to make anything long. And as far as videos are concerned, the only thing I do is just write bullet points for most videos. There are some mornings where I wake up and get an idea, I just shoot directly. But in many cases, I do write just the bullet points. All right, so I'm going to teach this thing, that thing, just it's a couple words. All right, so first I'm going to talk about selection, then I'm going to talk about color matching, then we're going to create a shadow, and then we're going to finish the video with a conclusion. Those are the just 4 words I write. And upon that, we do shoot the video. So as far as the process goes, it again depends upon video to video. First of all, it's definitely the research. Look for what you want to create, read your audience's comments, see what they want and see what is new. So there's already 5 to 10 steps on it. It doesn't always have to follow the steps when you get the idea. After you get the idea, you start looking, start practicing with it, start experimenting with it yourself so that you can understand what's going on and what you have to teach. Then comes the images and the materials. So no matter what genre of teaching it is, you need to have some material. So in my case, I have to pick for images that show that technique the best or show that feature the best. After you find that images, you write a schedule, a short video outline. That's what I do regarding as to what I'll teach. So once I have the video outline and the images and everything, I get ready for shooting, set up the camera, set up the lighting and everything. And then we shoot it. And after that, then the editing process. And it just doesn't end there. After the editing process, you have to write an article like 2 or 3 paragraphs, sometimes for the YouTube description. You have to design the thumbnail. You have to make sure that your title is well optimized and catchy. You have to work out the tags in the YouTube videos. You have to make sure that you end a proper end screen. So it's a pretty long process. And even if after it's released, if the process doesn't end, you have to promote it on your Facebook page, maybe on your Instagram. Maybe then some blogs pick it up, for example, F-stoppers. So they pick up and write something about it. I have to share that. So again, so it's a whole process that takes a lot of time. So there is no fixed steps to it, but definitely it does involve a lot of things.
Nice.
Very well put for something that takes a lot of time, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It does take, yes, it's not easy. Guys, I have to sacrifice a lot of things to make that happen. I haven't been to a party in ages. Like I haven't ever been to a party now when I look at it, and it's crazy. So yeah,
So we've had a great set of questions up until now. So I would like to switch things up a bit with this small game, if you don't mind. And
absolutely.
it's a game that we call It's Fake. PS, it's probably not. If you understand the wordplay, tell us in the comments. Gaurav, you want to
Okay.
explain the rules?
We're going to be showing you a picture. You have to guess if it's been photoshopped or not. It's
Okay.
quite simple that way.
All right. Yes, it makes sense.
So
Okay. All right. Now, here is the thing though. What is the level of Photoshop that has been done here? Definitely, even if the website says no, there has been color grading done here. That's for sure. It's not a photo that is straight out of the camera. A level of Photoshop has been applied no matter what the website says, because all photographers do that.
it has been, like you said, color grading and blemishes have been removed.
Yeah.
How about this one?
All right. Okay, so this is probably not photoshopped, is what I.
Let's check it out.
That's right. It's real.
That's right. It's real. How about this
All
one?
right. Well, some level of Photoshop has been done. That is for sure, because if it's lifted by a crane and they removed the crane bar, well, definitely it is Photoshop. But if you look at it, that the whole thing was created at Photoshop, then it's like it's the question of the level of Photoshop. But some level of Photoshop definitely I think has been applied. Let's see. Oh wow.
This one's real.
It was a science experiment or something that they did.
Okay.
So there
I
were
see.
actual balloons used.
All right. All right. It's pixelated a little bit. But either way, it's a little photoshopped because the skin has been softened. Skin usually isn't softened. But I cannot say for sure because the picture is pixelated. If it was a little sharp, I would have been able to tell you. And I think I have edited this picture before in one of my videos. So it's a stock photo. And it's edited in some way or the other. Definitely. The skin is soft,
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
Nobody's that perfect.
Yeah.
The
There's another
last
one.
one.
Last one. This is quite.
All right. This is real. This is real. This is an exhibition.
Have you been there? You were so confident about that.
No, I'm just guessing.
Oh, it's real.
It's real.
Because you guys wouldn't show me something so complicated and ask me whether it's real or fake. It's definitely got to be real. So yeah, it's a trick to the game too. Because with the home, I kind of guessed it because something so bizarre definitely got to be real. They're playing tricks with me.
Okay, so now that we're done with this really fun game, we'll get back to the last set of questions
Last
that we
set of
have.
questions.
Okay. All right.
So, is doing Photoshop your long-term plan, or do you have something else in mind moving forward?
So it's so unpredictable. A lot of people will ask you, especially in job interviews, how do you see yourself in 5 years? I cannot see myself in 5 years, to be really honest. Because if you ask the 5-year earlier version of me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I would have never imagined in my wildest dreams that I would be creating YouTube videos on Photoshop. I was working to be an animator and it completely turned out to be different. It's so unpredictable. A lot of different things happen. It doesn't mean that you stop working towards your goal, you stop doing what you love. It doesn't mean that. It is just that it's absurd for somebody to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So as far as Photoshop is concerned, I'm loving to do it right now. And I'm super open about if Adobe creates something, creates a crap feature, I openly tell in YouTube that it's a crap feature, it's a junk feature, it's a garbage feature. If it creates a good feature, I tell that openly. So if tomorrow, if Adobe bans me, I might start teaching something else. So it really doesn't matter what I do. I definitely want to be in the teaching business, and no matter, I don't like to call it a business, but a lot of people has made it a business because I just give out content for free. So And yes, I do some commercial content for private clients that a lot of the audience do not see, maybe for their employees and stuff. I love teaching. That's it. I just love to make people understand the concepts, and it really makes me happy when somebody messages me and tells me that I got a job because of you, or maybe it's the happiest day of my life to know that maybe I created a big project because learning from your techniques, and maybe I started a photography business based on watching your videos. So it really makes it happy to know that the videos help. So that is my basic goal, so to be able to teach and just enable creatives to move forward in their career. So there is no long-term choice as to what I'm going to teach. Right now, what I'm loving is teaching Photoshop. I'm continuing to do that. If in the moment I feel that I also would like to teach video editing, I might add that, I might not add that. So there's a lot of uncertainty there, but definitely for now, I'm with Photoshop.
So, there are a lot of content creators out there. So, is there anyone you would like to collaborate with?
At the moment, collaboration takes a lot of work. I'm one of those students, unfortunately. It's a sad thing. You guys are in college, you already know this. You get group projects right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Group assignments.
Yeah.
In group assignments, there's always going to be people who are freeloaders who don't do anything. Yeah, right? You've come across. Also, in a group project, there will be individuals who are perfectionists, who like to do the whole project on their own. Unfortunately,
Yes.
I used to be one of them. I never was a good team player. So collaborations, I'm not very good at it. I've done some collaborations, and maybe I'll do that in future. But at the moment, I'm not in a plan to do a particular collaboration with a content creator. If I get invitation to do something, I always say yes, just like I did to you. But otherwise, if you look at a full-blown collaboration where we do a certain video project together, that it's a little harder for me. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's just a little harder for me to do.
So we've come to our final question of this interview, if I may say. So are there
Sure.
any tips that you would give to people who are just starting out as content creators, or as people starting to use Photoshop or something?
As content creators, because even if you're doing Photoshop, you are a content creator. You're creating images. If you are on YouTube, you are a content creator. Anyway, you are online, you are a content creator. So the only advice that I give, and I give it in all of my videos, and that is keep creating. That is, don't worry, don't look at the stats, don't look at what people think, don't look at how perfect your work is, because a lot of times we get caught up in perfection. And because we get caught up in perfection, we end up not creating that stuff in the first place. We think maybe tomorrow we'll do it more perfectly. Let's scrap the whole video or scrap the whole idea out, and maybe we'll do it all over again. So we get so caught up in the imperfection thing that we end up not creating the content in the first place. So keeping all of that aside, keeping what the audience might think, keeping aside how people will react, keeping aside the perfection thing, because perfection again is subjective. If you create something, someone might say that, hey, it's a cool design. Somebody else might say that I hate it. Right? Just like what happened with Mintra. So it's a thing. It's you cannot chase perfection because it is so subjective. The idea here is you just keep creating and keep creating consistently. Once you do that, and once you stop looking at the stats, once you stop looking at the reaction, after you create, as I said, 100 videos or 100 pieces of content, you will realize that in the process, you become better. And just as people say in business that you get paid more as you become more valuable, right? So as you become more talented at your stuff, the audience will automatically come to you. It's the law of nature. So for the focus should be in personal growth and personal development, and to keep creating content, and automatically you'll get better. You don't have to worry about a thing. Just keep creating and everything else will be taken care of.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Somehow it's motivating me to study right now.
Yeah, if you like studying, definitely go for it.
Why not? Why not? Okay, so we are done with all of the questions. That was really quick and that was awesome. I hope
it
you
was pretty
had
awesome.
fun being here.
Thank you for that opportunity. Thank you so much for having me. Is there anything else you wanted to ask?
Oh yeah, we have this
Yeah.
sign-off thing that we do with all of
Mhm.
our guests. So it's we have this motto which is "Make it happen."
Make it
So
happen.
we make all our guests say it with us. Since there are 3 words and 3 of us, each one will say one word. I'll say make, Gaurav will say it, and you can say
It.
happen.
Okay.
3,
All right.
2, 1, make.
It.
Happen.
So with that, we come to an end of our 3rd episode of the CSI Show.
Thank you so much to all the viewers who joined us today in watching this show. And we hope you all got to learn a lot more about PiXimperfect, aka Unmesh, about his process, his work. And if you want to know anything more about him, if you want to know his channel, his Instagram, everything is linked down below in the description. So make sure to go check it out.
Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment to see who's next.
Or you can even give us some suggestions on who you want to see on the CSI show. We'll try to make it happen.
We'll try to make it happen.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye, people.
Goodbye.